Okay, students, welcome. This is the demo for the course activity for Unit 8 of Admentum or Science. This is on page 9. The first task I did in a separate video, which was on page 7. So this one is page 9. Okay, let me go over what I have here, my materials. So I have a paint tray filled with playground sand. I'm propping it up with a book so that there's a slight slant. And I cut a hole here on the bottom, and I have a bucket to catch any water that we'll be using. And then over here I have my pitcher of water. I have some houses and a ribbon and a tape measure that I'll need to use in a bit. So, make sure you guys are on the proper page. I'm just gonna start with part A and kind of move along from there. So the whole purpose of this activity is just to model what rivers look like and behave. And so let's go ahead and get started. So part A, I am going to be making a river. So I'm gonna kind of smooth things out a little bit. Best I can. And then I'm just gonna make a real straight river all the way down here. Okay, so kind of go in there again. That's my river bed, fairly straight. Okay, and then I'm gonna use my pitcher of water and I'm gonna start pouring it in to feed my river. Okay, and you can see, so far I don't have a river yet, right? And this is where it wants us to pause for part A. It's basically saying what part of the water cycle is going on right in this moment where everything is seeping into the ground, okay? I want you guys to actually look up the hydrologic cycle on Google. And I want you to look at images. And pretty much the first few images are going to give you diagrams of the complete water cycle. And you should find the, sorry, I got my dogs outside and apparently there's a cat out there. So, okay, kennel, go in the kennel. Hold on guys, sorry, go. Okay, back to it. Okay, so there is going to be a full water cycle if you look up hydrologic cycle, okay? And you'll be able to tell what this step is, and that's going to be your answer for part A. For part B, I'm going to start my river. So I'm going to continue pouring water until my river begins. You can see it's just seeping, but slowly we're going to be getting a river to start. There we go, it's starting to go. But see, as it goes down, it's going to continue seeping down, which is okay. Once everything has seeped in, our river's going to want to start to really form. Just kind of seep it down there a little bit. I think in a minute here, there we go. In a minute here, I'm gonna have to, oh, my river wants to take another path apparently. I'm gonna have to get some more water. Ooh, okay, and we have a flood, but that's okay. All right, the whole goal here is to basically get everything all seeped in, okay? And there we go. There you have it. That is part B. So you guys are basically just making those observations and writing that down for part B and what happened. Part C, oh no, for part B, there's a second little part on part B. I'm wiping away my first river, and it wants me to make a new river that has at least 2 bends, okay? It's starting to seep down there. So, 2 bends, let's kind of do something like this. Move that out of the way. There we go. And it's a lot easier to draw my river now. 2 bends. Okay. And I'm out of water, so I'm gonna go ahead and get some more water. Excuse my messy sink, sorry. Dogs are going crazy again. Okay, here we go. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and continue to pour. There we go. A couple of things happening here, that's okay. Some of it followed the original path, but you can see that it started to make a new path. Now we have this weird like fork in the river, which is actually kind of cool. So, let you guys make your observations there. Okay, and that's for part B. Now for part C. You guys are going to be drawing an image of this river and what it looked like originally, right? Had the 2 bends, kind of like an S curve, right? And I want you guys to indicate where you see the most erosion, okay? Was it on the inside or was it on the outside of the curves? So I'll kind of zoom in here so you guys can see. That's what we ended up with. Where do you see most of the erosion? Inside or outside? Okay, oh sorry, I'm kind of going upside down here. Sorry, you guys. Okay, I'm gonna try and keep it on one side. Still new to this, okay? I haven't recorded myself doing many things yet, so still kind of getting used to it. I'm actually gonna do this one more time because I want to see how it looks when we have a true one river, meaning like one path river, I guess, without it going off different directions. Okay. Look for the erosion here now. Is it the inside or the outside that's getting more erosion? Okay. Okay. So, once you have your picture drawn, you'll indicate on that picture where the erosion happens. You can just kind of like highlight one side or another or whatever, and that's fine. I'll accept that for part C. Okay, for part D, it wants me to add houses. So I'm gonna kind of recreate my path again. My S. Okay. And we're gonna add houses. We're gonna have some lovely riverside homes. All along a river. And we're gonna see what happens to these homes as the river continues to flow. Okay, so here we go. Oh dear. So you may want to kind of rewind the video and kind of go back and see which one of these houses were on the inside, which ones were on the outside of the curve, right? This guy, I mean, they're on a little island at this point, right? This guy seems pretty okay. The bank is still doing okay, but there is quite a bit of erosion around the house right here, right? So you kind of zoom in a little bit on some of these guys so you can see what it looks like, right? This guy's in the river, basically. Okay, and I want you guys to make your observations and answer the question, what happens to human settlements on rivers? Okay. Okay, for part E, I'm gonna remove my houses. Remove my houses and redraw my river how it was. Okay. So it's basically like this, right? Okay, so there's my river. Part E is talking about sinuosity. I'm actually gonna go wash my hands, so bear with me here. Okay. Okay, sinuosity is a measurement of how much our river curves, okay? And there's basically 3 different classifications. A sinuosity of right around 1, value of 1, means that we have a pretty straight river, right? A sinuosity between 1 and 1.5 means we have what we call a sinuous river. It bends slightly. It's not quite straight, but it's not quite meandering. It's right in the middle. A sinuosity of 1.5 plus is a meandering river, meaning there's lots of bends and turns, okay? The way that we calculate sinuosity is to take the river length, so the actual length of this river, divided by the straight length, okay? So I am going to measure for you guys, I have my ribbon, I'm gonna measure for you guys how long the length of my river is using the ribbon. I'm just using my ribbon to get the actual length here. So it's about this, about this long. And I'm gonna measure that. Let me just set you guys down for a second. I'm gonna measure that with my measuring tape, how long that river was. Okay, that's 14 inches. So the length of my river is 14 inches. You're gonna wanna write that down. The straight length of my river, about here, let's just say that's about 10 inches, okay? So the sinuosity is going to be 14 divided by 10. And I'm not gonna calculate that for you, I'm gonna let you guys do that. And whatever you get, 14 divided by 10, that is going to be your sinuosity, okay? And I want you to write down the number of your sinuosity and then tell me, do we have a straight river, a sinuous river, or a meandering river, okay? For the last part, part F, we have a scenario. Essentially, it's saying that in our fictional world here, way up above where our housing development is, there is a lake, and the lake starts to overflow, and all this water is starting to come rushing into our housing development, okay? the goal, remove our river. The goal is to create a river with a sinuosity of less than 1.7. Okay, so not a super meandering river, right? Less than 1.7, which is going to protect our homes. And we have 3 homes in this housing development. Okay, so the whole point of this is really to be creative and kind of to work through the challenge. So I'm just going to try something on my own here, and hopefully it works. I'm going to let you guys do the actual calculation part of it, but I'm just going to go here and create my river on what I think it should look like. So here we go. Right, we're gonna get a flood in this neighborhood. I want my houses to stay, and I want them to dig up that space around my houses so that the water will not affect my houses. So here we go. Open that part up a little bit so that we don't get too much flooding. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Are they going to survive? So far, so good. Oh dear. We're losing the last 2. Oh, well, yeah, middle one definitely gone. The last guy is actually looking okay now. The river's diverted kind of around him. Never mind, we're still getting some flooding. But the first guy's doing okay. All right, so I'm gonna kind of redraw my river. And I'm going to measure how long this river is. And I'm gonna have you guys write that down. So give me a second here. I'll use my ribbon. Okay. And I'm gonna measure the length of my ribbon. We are at 16.25. So the river's length is 16.25. And the actual straight length is still the same. I believe that was, what, 10 inches? So you guys will need to calculate the sinuosity of this river is 16.25 divided by 10, less than 1.7. Go ahead and write your observations and results. And once you guys are done with that, please save and submit. If you finished the first task, now this is the second task. This is the last part of the Unit 8 lab. So please submit so I can grade for you guys and get your unit over to you, okay? So hope you guys have a good day, and I will talk to you guys next time for Unit 10. Bye.